Hello, this is Darby Reviews here. I'm here to show my superhero collection. I'm starting with DC first, since I have a ton of superhero movies. Probably not as much as my fighting games, but it's probably maybe my second most. I don't know. I would have to look at my horror movie collection again, but this is a lot. So, starting off with Batman Begins, which I got from a half bookstore for $5.99. When it first came out, I didn't like it when it first came out, but I've grown to like it better over the years. And Scarecrow was awesome in this movie. The Dark Knight, considered the best superhero movie of all time, which I don't think so, but it's still a pretty good movie. I actually met Aaron Eckhart. Really nice guy. I got his autograph when he was doing the promotion for the Battle LA movie. Yeah, real nice guy. And of course, Heath Ledger was really good. The Dark Knight Rises. I have mixed feelings on this one. Especially with Bane and Catwoman. And there's some plot holes, and it gets worse every time I watch it, but And we have the Batman 4-pack, which amazing. I like Batman Forever. I don't care what anybody says. I like Batman Forever. Batman and Robin, considered one of the worst or the worst superhero movie, which honestly I've seen much worse, to be honest. Like Catwoman, ugh. I really like all four of these films. I have a soft spot for Batman or Robin because I saw it in theaters when I was a kid, so yeah. Superman, the 5-movie collection, which has Superman 1, Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4, and Superman Returns. This is the best Superman in my opinion. Superman 2, I like Superman 2. Superman 3, it has some good moments in there, but Superman 4 was pretty bad. Suicide Squad. Yeah, honestly, I don't hate the film, but I could see why some people don't like it. And it had a ton of problems, like the villain and the CGI and stuff, but I don't know. And Justice League Season 1. One of the best DC cartoons ever made. If you don't have this on Blu-ray, I would pick it up. Batman, Harley Quinn. Have not watched it yet, even though I bought it. The 1966 Batman movie. A classic. It's, I like Adam West, so. Superman, the movie. I got the 5 collection, so that was pointless, but, the Wonder Woman, my mom accidentally got this in 4K and she didn't want to take it back, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll take it. Actually one of the DCU's best DC movies in my opinion. Justice League Unlimited. This is basically the second series to Justice League. Again, one of the best DC cartoons ever made. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I have mixed feelings about this one, but it's still decent, especially the fight scenes, especially the warehouse scene is one of the best DC scenes in the entire franchise, honestly, but it had a lot of problems, and of course I didn't like Lex Luthor, of course. Teen Titans Season 1 on Blu-ray. One of the best DC cartoons, and I really hope that they release the rest of the seasons on Blu-ray. Please, Warner Brothers, put this on Blu-ray, the rest of the series. It's sad when this was not released after Teen Titans Go's Blu-ray release, which is insulting to me. Batman, the Batman Superman movie. I'll make a joke right here. Still better than Batman v Superman. Alright, yeah, this was, I think, part of the Superman animated series, two-parter, I don't remember. And then there's Batman versus Dracula. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't remember it that well. Both pretty good. Superman Brainiac Attacks. I don't think this is part of the DC animated universe movies or whatever, but I think I've only seen this once, and I thought it was okay. And Clancy Brown is not Lex Luthor in there, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah. Oh boy, Justice League. Honestly, Justice League wasn't that bad. I could see why people hate it. I thought it was good enough. Yeah, the CGI was bad and the villain was terrible. But, well, yeah, Superman's mouth too. But some of the scenes were entertaining, like all the scenes with Wonder Woman in it, of course. It's too bad that Ben Affleck left after this, basically. The double feature, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, great movie. Sub-Zero, another good one. I remember the promos for Mr. Freeze on the Space Jam VHS. They would have the Sub-Zero commercial thing come on. It was really awesome. Batman, Mystery of the Batwoman. I think I've only seen this once. Aquaman, one of DC's best DCU films. Honestly, I like Aquaman. Some people might not like it. Whatever. I thought it was pretty good. Shazam. One of DC's best again. And I'm surprised this one didn't make more than $400 million at the box office, which makes no sense. I think at least should have got 700 or 500 million, because it was a really good movie. I don't know. It's how Shazam is, but whatever. Now, Batman, the complete animated series. The best. I'm talking about the best animated DC show ever made, period. And this has season 4, and actually it comes with Sub-Zero and Mask of Phantasm. I didn't know if it did, because this isn't the collector's edition or whatever. Still paid a lot of money. I think $69.99, I think, or $70. I can't remember, but I paid a lot for it. But Batman Beyond, The Return of the Joker. My opinion, probably the best animated Batman movie, in my opinion. I know it's unpopular. I like it even more than Mask of Phantasm. But, yeah, it's got the Joker. Mark Hamill's back as the Joker. I thought all the action and all that was good. I can see why some people might say that it is a tad disappointing, but I think it was pretty good for what it was. So, not Batman. Justice League versus the Fatal Five. I've not watched this, and I saw this for $14.99 at Target, and this is a steelbook of it. I think I paid $14.99 or $19.99, somewhere between that. This is season 2 of Justice League. Like I said, it was one of the best. And I have stuff falling. Batman, the 60s Batman. Man, I miss you, Adam West. But this is the Blu-ray of this show. It's a very campy, classic show. If you're looking for dark and gritty, this show is definitely not for you. But if you want to just have fun, you want a fun Batman, this is the guy right here, Adam West and Burt Ward. What else can I say? The show was amazing for the 60s. The Joker was great. Catwoman was great. Eartha Kitt's Catwoman was great. The Penguin was great. The Riddler's great. Yeah, sure, the special effects didn't age for its time, but it's a campy show. Yeah. And this is not the collector's edition. This is, I guess, standard edition. It didn't come with the car. This one I think I paid $59.99, I think, or $50 for, which I think is worth it. But the only problem is trying to get the discs out. You got to be really careful. Alright. Okay, these are the non-Marvel and DC ones I have. The Green Hornet, I know it started off as a radio show, and it had a TV show that crossed over with Batman, the 60s one, which I really hope that the Green Hornet will get a Blu-ray release someday. But this one's the one with Seth Rogen. I thought it was funny. I know it's not the best take on the Green Hornet. I guess they're rebooting it maybe next year. I'm not sure. Hopefully it'll be more true to like the Bruce Lee, and I forgot the other guy's name, but yeah. Spawn director's cut. I know some people don't like this movie. I have a soft spot for it. I know it's not the greatest superhero movie of all time or anything. I mean, Michael J. White is pretty good. John, I don't want to butcher his name. He was really good as the Violator, but everybody else kind of seemed meh. And some of the special effects are okay, but then some of them are really, really bad and dated. Like, it looked like PlayStation 1 graphics. Like the demon thing. Oh my god, it looked bad. Oop, that's actually Marvel over there. Hellboy. I haven't seen the first one in a long time, but from what I remember, it's a good movie. Hold on. Hellboy 2, because it was all the way over there. This was a good movie. I wish they would have made a third movie, and then they made the reboot, which I saw in theaters, which wasn't very good. I mean, Ron Perlman is Hellboy. I'm sorry. They need to have the third movie come out because that reboot, some of the effects and stuff, plot and all that were all over the place, and it bombed, of course. But Hellboy 2, very underrated. And another very, very underrated movie, the Darkman trilogy, which some people might not even know about because it came out in 1990. My favorite director of all time directed the first one, Sam Raimi, who directed the Spider-Man trilogy, the Evil Dead trilogy, Drag Me to Hell, a lot of other stuff. But yeah, the first one, the best one. 2 and 3, I don't remember them as much. I've seen them a while ago. They were okay compared. The first one's the best one, plus it had a cameo from a certain favorite actor of mine in it. And Liam Neeson being a superhero, and this is non-DC and Marvel. I think they actually made a comic for him later for like Dark Horse or something, I think. Sky High. A movie I have a personal soft spot for because it was the last movie I saw with my best friend before he moved. And then the movie we saw when I saw him again in a long time was X-Men Days of Future Past. But this movie had Bruce Campbell in it, Kurt Russell. It had the actor who played Wonder Woman in it from the 70s show. It's a Disney film, but I think it was a pretty good Disney film, superhero. I wish they had a sequel, but it'll never happen. It'll probably get rebooted or something, but yeah, I picked this up actually most recently. And last but finally, my second favorite movie of all time, The Crow. I could talk about this movie all day if I wanted to. Brandon Lee as The Crow is some of the best acting I've ever seen in a superhero movie. I wish he wouldn't have died in real life. He probably would have been getting Oscars like Heath Ledger would if he wouldn't have died. But yeah, and my favorite wrestler is Sting, and he got the inspiration from The Crow. So yeah, I could talk all day of why I like this movie so much. I was bothering one of my friends to watch it. I'm like, come on, watch The Crow, come on. But yeah, The Crow is an awesome movie. It's a 1994 classic. I almost forgot about these two. The Incredibles and The Incredibles 2. Really, really good superhero movies. It really feels like an old school superhero movie. The first one, great. The second one, I almost would say it's almost as good as the first one, in my opinion. These two are really great. I hope we don't have to wait another like 15 years to have the third movie come out. But yeah, these two movies are great, and I have a soft spot for the first one, of course, because me and my cousin used to play the video game on his Xbox, his original Xbox. But yeah, both of these films, great movies. And I forgot about this one too, Sin City. It's a great movie. At first, when I first saw it when I was 12, I didn't really care for it or whatever, but I've grown to really like it. Maybe a couple of years later, I really appreciate it. I have like a DVD version, like a special edition, where it comes with the actual comic book. So that was pretty cool. I don't feel like bringing it out, but yeah, Unfortunately, I don't have the second one because every time I try to order it online, it's out of stock or it's used, and then the cheapest one will be gone in a matter of seconds. But yeah. Now we're moving into Marvel here with Howard the Duck, which I only paid $5.99 for, which some people might say, oh, that's too much, you shouldn't even pay a penny for it. Yeah, Howard the Duck is considered one of the worst superhero movies ever made from Marvel, and it's technically one of the first Marvel movies in theaters, and it flopped. But the nice thing about Howard the Duck is, there's a lot of moments in there that are kind of funny. The actor who played Howard in the suit, Ed Gale, really nice guy. I have him as a friend on Facebook. Really nice dude. And then we have Spider-Man Trilogy, which is the best Spider-Man series ever made, and I don't care what anybody says. Spider-Man 1, great. Spider-Man 2, amazing. Spider-Man 3, which considered the worst of the series, or the weakest. Which, yes and no. I like Spider-Man 3. I don't care about the emo dance thing that he did. Spider-Man 3 isn't really as bad as people make it out to be. You know, Venom wasn't even supposed to be in the movie at all. Sony really wanted him in there, and they rushed it, and that's why it is the way it is. The 3 movie animated movies, I think I've only seen these 3 once, and they're nowhere near as good as the DC animated ones at all. Anyway, Fantastic Four, The Rise of the Silver Surfer. If you're wondering, no, I don't have Fan 4 Stick because that movie was garbage. I'll rather watch Howard the Duck or Batman vs. Robin than Fan 4 Stick. Anyway, Fantastic Four was alright, and Fantastic Four, The Rise of the Silver Surfer was just alright. It both had good moments in the movie, but some of it's not really action-packed. Chris Evans was great, future Captain America, but anyway, I never liked Alba as Invisible Woman. Galactus was a disgrace in Rise of the Silver Surfer. Doctor Doom was alright. Everybody else was pretty good. Like The Thing and Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, were probably the best characters and the best thing of those movies. And Ang Lee's the Hulk. I guess this is also considered a bad movie, but I don't know. It was okay. I like this cover art that I have for this. I think I got it at like Walmart or something, or not Walmart, Target or something. Some people may not know that Men in Black was a comic book series. Yeah, I've not seen the 4th movie, and I heard from a lot of people it wasn't good. So I don't know. I'll just rent it or something. Yeah, the Men in Black trilogy, the first one's great, the second one's okay, the third one's pretty good. Daredevil, the director's cut, and I don't have Elektra because that movie was really, really bad. And that says a lot compared to Daredevil, which people do not like. But the director's cut is way better than the actual theatrical cut of this movie. Yes, there's some goofy moments, and some of the CGI didn't age well. Some of the acting from Ben Affleck was kind of meh, and Elektra's acting was worse, but the Kingpin was awesome. Yeah. Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. This is an amazing Spider-Man movie. The animation, the voice acting, everything about this movie was awesome. And I liked it better than, unpopular opinion alert, Infinity War. I thought this was the best Marvel movie that they put out in 2018. And one of the best Spider-Man movies they put out. Yep. Blade. I remember seeing Blade 1, 2. I don't think I saw 3 in theaters. But anyway, Blade 1, great. Blade 2, great. Even though some of the special effects did not age very well for those films. But Blade 3, I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be. But I could see why, like, I don't know. There was just something off about Blade 3. Wesley Snipes is awesome as Blade. I can't wait for the new Blade movie for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Oh boy. I guess Kick-Ass is sort of Marvel, if I remember correctly, but Kick-Ass was great. Very violent. I didn't think it was going to be any good. And Kick-Ass 2, which I only paid $3 for, it was good, but it was not as good as the first one. I didn't like the actor changes for certain characters, and Jim Carrey wasn't in the film as much as I would like him to be. But Kick-Ass 1 was great. It was a good rated R movie before Deadpool. Kick-Ass 2, I don't know, it had some lackluster stuff in there, and they set it up for a third movie, and I don't think that's going to happen at all. And lastly, for the non-MCU stuff, Venom, I waited to see this until like the last week of it showing, because I'm not a huge Tom Hardy fan, and I was like, oh man, a Spider-Man movie, like a Venom movie without Spider-Man, oh man, it's gonna suck. Actually, it turned out okay, and I feel like it would, hopefully the sequel won't suck, and hopefully since Sony has Spider-Man again, they at least give him a cameo or something next time. I thought it was a decent movie. Not the best. Some of the CGI was it's not as action-packed, which is fine. And Stan Lee's, like, basically last cameo of him being alive, which is kind of sad, was in this movie. But, Venom, hopefully the sequel won't be terrible, and they have Carnage in there, which Woody Harrelson's wig was so bad. He looked so terrible, but, and cartoony compared to the rest of the movie, but, hopefully it'll be good. Almost forgot about the X-Men movies, because I said, oh, the MCU. X-Men 1 came out in 2000. Honestly, X-Men 1 wasn't as good as people made it out to be honest. I mean, Hugh Jackman, good as Wolverine. Patrick Stewart as Xavier, amazing. Magneto, amazing. Storm, Storm was terrible. X-Men 1 was pretty decent. X-Men 2, however, with Nightcrawler on the cover, was probably the best one in the entire series, in my opinion. It just, everything was much better in that movie. X-Men 3, a huge disappointment for a lot of people, which I understand because of the Phoenix Saga and killing off characters and stuff. I mean, I liked it when it came out, but yeah, I can understand why people didn't like this one. And the Juggernaut scene, yeah. I mean, it did have some really good moments. I could say better than some other X-Men movie that I'm about to bring up. X-Men Origins, considered the worst one out of the series and one of the worst superhero movies too. So I don't know. There's things I like about it, and then there's things I don't like about it. Like Gambit, perfect. Sabretooth, perfect. Wolverine, perfect. Everything else, Deadpool, Deadpool, they butchered you, buddy. Yeah, let's sew his mouth shut and make him look like Baraka. Yeah, that's a great idea. And some of the CGI, especially the claws, looks so fake. I'm like, what was wrong with the ones they had in the previous one? I don't know. Technically, this is a prequel. X-Men First Class, honestly, one of the best ones of the series. Also, everything about it felt like an X-Men movie. It felt like the X-Men comics for real. Like, the costumes, the acting was good. Kevin Bacon was an awesome villain. Everything about this one was so good. This one and the second one and Days of Future Past are probably the best ones out of the series. The Wolverine, it was pretty good. Some people thought it was meh. It is kind of meh. It's not like a ton of action. I think that the X-Men series is kind of all over the place with continuity and timeline stuff. Actually have two versions of Days of Future Past. This is the original one. The one thing I don't like about the X-Men movies later is they gave Rogue too much screen time, and they made her look like a good guy and a leader, and she's not like that in the comics. She's not supposed to be like that. Anyway, a great movie. This was the movie I saw with my best friend when we finally saw a movie together again. I have the Rogue cut, which I've only seen a couple scenes off of YouTube. I'm like, I might as well get it. And it has Rogue in there because, you know, Rogue, in the movies, they made her Jubilee, basically, in these movies. But, yeah. X-Men Apocalypse. They had mixed feelings about this one, which I understand. She's a much better Storm, by the way. All the younger cat. I don't know, I wasn't feeling it with Jean Grey. This version of Jean Grey. Everybody else was fine, of course. I forgot to mention that Quicksilver was awesome in the last movie, and he's also awesome in this one, too. Deadpool. I wouldn't say great movie, but good movie. I don't know. It's slightly overrated, but I still really do like this movie. Ryan Reynolds kills it as Deadpool. That is how Deadpool is. So it's too bad that we'll never really get to see Logan and Deadpool like team up or whatever, you know. And he's supposed to be in the MCU, so hopefully Ryan Reynolds will make some jokes about it or something. Logan, considered one of the best, and I say no, not even close. Good movie, yeah, but all the mutants are gone, and it's just Logan and Xavier, and people get killed off. The villain was okay. Yeah, I was kind of sad at the end, but I didn't cry. But I don't know. Something about Logan, I don't know. It's like, we'll just kill off all the mutants in our timeline, and then they make Deadpool 2, which they do make fun of Logan's death, sort of, in the beginning. Honestly, I think Deadpool 2 was better than the first one, and I know it's an unpopular opinion, but, Cable, aka Thanos, was really good. I feel like this one was better than the second one because, I don't know, more action, I guess. And then, lastly, the one I just recently picked up when it got released, Dark Phoenix. Well, Dark Phoenix was underwhelming, but it's still not the worst one of the series, and people were, I don't know, overreacting, not saying that it was the worst one of the series or it's garbage or whatever. I think it was fine. I think it was okay. It wasn't the worst, it wasn't the best, it's kind of in the gray area, man. I really love this cover. But I don't know, finally getting rid of Mystique was fine. I don't know, it seemed like the acting from some of the characters, they just were over it. Except for Magneto. Yeah. Nightcrawler was awesome. It's too bad they kind of limited Quicksilver, but I don't know. The main villain was not the best, but honestly, it was still better than X-Men Origins. Come on now. And it shouldn't have got a 5.9 on IMDb compared to X-Men Origins, which has a 6.6. So yeah, and I really like the soundtrack on this movie too. So yeah, and it's technically rebooting the X-Men 3 thing. I mean, I think they handled it better, except for it didn't have as much action. It didn't have that much action, and the whole train sequence thing was awesome too. But I think this movie was okay. Now the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Iron Man 1. Unpopular opinion, it's my least favorite one out of all of them. I know, blasphemy. Incredible Hulk, I find it underrated, and I prefer Edward Norton over Mark Ruffalo. It's not the most action-based movie, and some people may not know that it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I can understand because they never really mention it, and it's owned by Universal. That's why there's no other Hulk movie lately. Iron Man 2. Some people will say it's the least favorite one out of the MCU. My opinion, unpopular. I like it a little better than Iron Man 1. I know. Blasphemy again. Thor, pretty good. I think Thor was pretty good, honestly. Captain America, the First Avenger, which I find another one underrated because of the ratings on IMDb for sure. yeah, so some of the CGI, some of it kind of looks weird, but I don't know. And then the Avengers. Oh boy, this was a huge thing when it came out. I remember when I saw it in theaters. Yeah, it was a big deal. I remember people cheering and all that. Oh man. Iron Man 3, another one that people consider their least favorite. I like Iron Man 3. Yes, the Mandarin thing was horrible, but I don't know. I find it okay. Thor: The Dark World. Another one that's people's least favorite. Honestly, Thor: The Dark World was fine. I don't know. My opinion, kind of unpopular. This was the best MCU movie, in my opinion. The Winter Soldier. I'm still salty to this day that I couldn't be an extra because they were filming in Cleveland, and I was feeling really, really sick. I wanted to be an extra so bad in this movie, but yeah, Winter Soldier. Everything in the movie is awesome. There probably was a ton of CGI in there, but I didn't notice it because it was not noticeable. I'm just ignoring the phone. Anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of people didn't know who Guardians of the Galaxy are, which is understandable because nobody reads the comics anymore, and they're not very popular. I kind of knew who they were. Like, I knew a little bit of them, but not very much. But yeah, and they became the most popular characters now. Age of Ultron. The sequel to this is the second Avengers movie, and obviously it's not as good as the first one for some people. I like it, and I like the villain. I don't know, some of the scenes feel a little dragged on, and not a huge fan of the Black Widow Hulk forced love story. Ant-Man, another underrated film. Really funny movie. Worth watching multiple times. Civil War, not as good as some of the other films, but still a really great movie. The only problem with me with it is the CGI. Some of it, like Iron Man's suit in some scenes, and Spider-Man's suit seems a little off, like obviously fake, but still a great movie. Doctor Strange, good movie, even though the villain kind of sucked. Hopefully the sequel will be great, and hopefully Dormammu will show up more, because I don't know, he's kind of a big deal, and he just didn't really have a ton of screen time in my opinion. Spider-Man Homecoming. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I really like Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, the CGI on some of the costume looks fake as hell, but I don't know. I'm glad that they reduced Iron Man's role to just basically cameos because it is Spider-Man's movie, so and I'm finally happy that he was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Unfortunately, he is not right now, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, nowhere as good as the first movie at all. Honestly, probably my second or third least favorite one. Yes, there's really good entertaining scenes, and man, the villain is so much better in this one than it is in the first one, which is sad. But and for some reason the lighting is kind of getting crappy because it's getting dark. I think it might rain. Thor Ragnarok, easily the best Thor movie and one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yes, they rely on a lot of jokes on here. 99.9% of them are pretty funny. We finally get to see some Hulk action. Everybody was great. Hela was a good villain. This is the mistake my mom got again, because I do have a 4K Blu-ray player on my Xbox One, but I don't have a 4K TV for right now. Black Panther, if you've seen my reviews on it, it is honestly overrated. It's a good film, yes, but I don't know. I mean, the villain's good, but he has not enough screen time. They kill off Andy Serkis's character, which, if I remember correctly, was a big deal in the comics with Black Panther. The CGI is atrocious. There shouldn't be no excuse why the CGI looked as bad as it did in this movie, but acting, yeah, pretty good. Action scenes, it ruins it by the bad CGI. Yeah, this movie was good, but it's just, I don't know. And another unpopular opinion, Infinity War was probably my least favorite Avengers movie. I know, blasphemy. Thanos winning was good. But the CGI on Iron Man's suit and some of the CGI it was just some of the worst CGI and unexcusable. But everything else was pretty good. It felt like some of the characters had more screen time than the. I apologize, my phone screwed up. The storage was full. What I was saying is, it felt like more of an Iron Man movie or a Thor movie or a Thanos movie than some of the characters like Captain America. Had no screen time to me. And I didn't cry when Spider-Man died. I was more pissed off when Heimdall died, but and shocked about Loki, but I don't know. Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was good, but it was not as good as the first one. And Captain Marvel. I know a lot of people don't like it because of the actor. They say that it's dull or whatever. Captain Marvel was alright. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the greatest. Brie did alright. Avengers Endgame, one one of the best Marvel movies ever, and the best Avengers movie easily. And it definitely deserves an 8.6. Really, it should be a 9. And it's better than Dark Knight. I'm sorry, DC fans, well, fanboys. Because I like both. I like both Marvel and DC. Yeah, Marvel and DC. They're both great. Okay, I don't get why the fanboys. Oh, Marvel sucks. Oh, DC sucks. They're both good. Okay, guys. Anyway, I didn't cry when Iron Man died. Or Black Widow. I was kind of shocked that Black Widow died. Easily, yeah, there's like maybe a few plot holes in here, but who really cares? Avengers Endgame is definitely one of the best Marvel movies. Since I don't have it right now because it comes out next month, if I remember correctly, Spider-Man, Far From Home, great movie, better than Homecoming, better villain, and overall great Marvel movie, great Spider-Man movie, and I can't wait for the next ones. Some people, not a lot of people, are done with Marvel since Iron Man died, which you're gonna be missing out on some of. Could There could be something awesome that comes in the future. You don't know because Blade's coming out in a few years. You got the Eternals, which I don't know anything about. Shang, forgot what his name is. The Guardians Galaxy, gotta wait a few years. The Black Widow movie, which is probably a prequel. Which they should have had her. She should have had a movie like 4 years ago. But anyway, yeah, this is my entire superhero collection. Unfortunately, I couldn't find my Superman. It was like a made-for-TV movie. It was like technically like the first 2 episodes of Superman the animated series. But anyway, this is my superhero collection.